for Harvard again at Paper Moon Crafts. Welcome to my crafty Airstream. Today we are going to make tiny fairy houses out of paper clay. And here is one that I've already done. Aren't they cute? Okay, we're ready for step one of making our tiny fairy houses. First thing we do is we get paper clay, which you can get at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, any craft store. It's white, it paints really well, and it takes a couple of days to dry. So if you're making something and you need it right away, just prepare ahead, give it a couple of days. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just pinch off a little bit of clay. And this has been sitting out for a little while, so if it gets dry, just get a little bit of water and work it in the clay and roll it back out. Then what you do is you just pinch between your finger and thumb and then pinch again. So you're making a cube, basically. If you want it longer, you just pinch it a little more. So here's a cube. Pinch the corners to make little corners here. And then for the roof, you simply take your finger and thumb and just squeeze and then kind of push the ends. And that is so simple. Fairy houses aren't perfect, right? They've been out in the woods, they're just not perfect. And then sometimes I take, for a flatter bottom, I kind of push it against the table or whatever you've got, whatever you're working on. Okay, so once you've got that done, you take a matchstick, and these are also for sale at any craft store. You can buy a whole bag of them. And I like the little matchsticks because they're square and they work perfectly for the windows and the door. So then you just take the matchstick and poke it where you would like windows to be in your house. And also, they don't have to be perfectly neat. It's a fairy house, so just have fun with it. Make a little door. Yeah. Sometimes I've put a couple on the side of the fairy house, maybe two in the back, and then one more on the side. Now you're just going to set it aside and let it dry. Fairy houses come in all shapes and sizes. Okay, now we have our little fairy houses that are all dry. They've been drying for a couple of days, so they're ready to go. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to paint the fairy houses. Now we don't want the paint to look too neat. We want it to look kind of washed out, like the house has been sitting there for a long time. So we're going to make a little wash. We're going to take gray paint and water and just make it really wet. Just keep adding water and just make sure that you get inside all the doors and windows. That's what makes them pop. Go all the way around the back door, back windows. So after you do that, you take a paper towel or a napkin and you just wipe some of it off so that it looks really old and worn. This is the type of place a fairy would live in. So after that, we're going to take a little tacky glue on a paintbrush, and then you're going to take just a little glue to the top. Now after you get the glue on there, you're going to take some of your moss, just a pinch, and then you're going to just pinch it on the roof. And it looks like that. Now you can trim it. I learned this from Pixie Hill blog, and she does trim her little fairy houses and they all look beautiful, but sometimes I just like mine to look a little wild. I just love these little fairy houses, and I originally saw these on Pixie Hill blog. She does amazing little teacup fairy cottages, lands. It's so cute. Check her out, Pixie Hill. This video is part of our series of how to make a home for your gnome. Follow the links down here for your other videos in our series.